All right, hello. I am Jason. I use he, him pronouns. This is session 3 of 4 of a run of Zombie World by Magpie Games. It is a PBTA game taking place in a zombie apocalypse. Um, the players are survivors trying to survive in that apocalypse. This game is part of the Gauntlet online gaming community. We play dozens, close to 100 probably or more games a month. A lot of indie and small press games. If you like what you see, you're looking for somewhere to play, you want to check it out, go to gauntlet-rpg.com. Let's go around the table as usual and have you guys introduce yourselves with your pronouns, your characters with their pronouns. Tell us as little or as much of your character you would like to, and definitely tell us, kind of in brief, what the cards are that you have on the table. I know we flipped a few cards of your either your past or your traumas last week. So let's remind everybody what we have on the table. And we'll go left to right on my screen, my StreamYard screen. Looks like Kyle, you're the lucky one this week. Tell us about yourself and your character.
I'm Kyle, he, him, playing Sam Smith, he, him. He's a juggernaut who has been infected with the zombie virus.
All right. And let's move to Dan.
I'm Dan. I use he, him pronouns, playing Austin Holt, who also uses he, him pronouns. Let me see here. He is the sort of the Enclave's sneak. He is also, we learned last session, he is a teenager. His background is he's a teenager, and he was saved by, I think, the store manager of the sporting goods store where he worked with his ally Shun Wen before Z-Day.
Okay. And next up is Matt. Tell us about yourself and your character.
I am Matt, he, him. I am playing Stanley Norris, who is a backwoods farmer and survivalist, who is also, as it turns out, fearful and timid. But yes, that's it.
Okay. And John, finish up.
I'm John, he, him, playing Val Jordan, who is also a he, him. He is the colony bully, and it was revealed last session that he was an EMT, actually, working out of this hospital prior to Z-Day.
Okay. And that, just bringing that back to the very beginning, we had a relationship between Val and Austin where they had a prior they knew each other before Z-Day, and we had mechanically where Dan was able to look at John's card, his past card, and so you kind of knew all along that he was an EMT. So that was nice. How, the rest of us didn't know what it was, but you had been kind of pushing him to like use those skills, and the fact that we learned that he was an EMT kind of explains. But for whatever reason, Val wasn't interested in that until, jamming that Pulp Fiction style adrenaline syringe into Sam, and not kind of at least temporarily bringing him out of the kind of fugue that he was falling into. Anyways, safety wise, so tone wise, content wise, we've all agreed this is going to be a mature kind of story. Hard R to flat out mature. A lot of violence, gore, all of that stuff is on the table. We do have a few things that we've agreed to try to avoid, or at least to have behind a veil. So our lines, things we don't want to see or hear about, are mention of or illnesses similar to the coronavirus and sexual assault. And veils, things that we can allude to or kind of be off screen, are zombie kids and consensual sex. Okay. Let's get started. before I kind of bring us back to where we left off, one thing I just want to kind of put out there kind of meta-wise. In this game, there is I guess, I don't know if mechanic is kind of a too strong of a word, but there's part of this game is to have time jumps where when things kind of calm down, you kind of jump forward a little bit, kind of like, especially in The Walking Dead, you see it quite a bit where there will be kind of intense episodes that will have a narrative arc, and then it'll be a mid-season break or whatever, and they'll come back later in time. And I'm not going to force it, but it's in the back of my mind that I would like to see us have one of those at some point. So, if you see me kind of like pushing things a little bit towards resolving our current high tension situation, my goal is I would like, as a test run of this game for me, to be able to have at least one of those time jumps in our 4-session play session, I guess, the 4 sessions that we have. So just to put that out there. Something else I was going to say. Oh, I know. I have created a few more handouts that you guys can check out as we play. So I have added a handout of Sacred Heart. I think maybe we had that last time. I don't remember. And I've also added as a handout what I call a mod's truck, which kind of shows the seating arrangements that we ended with in a mod's white big pickup truck with a red racing stripe. And I've also added a handout of the town square that you're entering. Kyle, what's the name of our town? I don't think we've established that. What's this Midwest town's name? It's not very big. We know that much. It's kind of rural / suburban. What would you call this place?
Glendale?
Glendale. Sounds good. All right, so Glendale has a town square. And when we last left our adventure, you guys had decided that you were going to go to the police station in town and get some guns so that you could come back and try to clear out the hospital of all these zombies that have kind of taken over most of it. And you created a noisemaker, which worked pretty well, drew off some zombies, and Austin and Shun snuck up to the truck that was in the parking lot, and they unlocked it. But unfortunately, the car alarm went off, and a bunch of zombies ran back as Shun and Austin jumped into this truck, started it up, drove to the ER entrance, the ambulance entrance of the ER, where the rest of you guys were waiting. You jumped in. Stanley was, he had a long ways to go from where he had put the noisemaker. So he ran to the truck. He jumped in, got in the sort of bumper seat or whatever you call it. Every single time we mention this thing, I'm going to struggle with what to call it. I even Googled to try to figure out what you call them. And apparently every truck, every type of truck, they call it a different thing. So my struggle with, I'll just struggle with it because even the car makers are consistent on what they call it. But anyways, so Stanley jumped in, and some of the, just ahead of the zombies, charging after him, and you guys went speeding down the road. A couple of I think I described a couple of the zombies sort of jumped in the back, but thinking about it afterwards, you did succeed on the roll. So I think it's fair to say that they, the guys in the back, which I think were, the ultra macho, savage, tough guy, Val, and who was the other one? Shun. I think you guys are in the back, and Val, how do you get a couple of zombies that try to climb in the back? How do you get them out or dispatch them? What does that look like?
I think it's just Val displaying like his physical strength, shoving them back, maybe grabbing one by the scruff of its tattered clothing, and you kind of see him like throwing him back over the side.
Yep. Sounds great. And you guys go driving down the road. And as I described, it's sort of a windy road that leads from, the hospital sort of in the community, but it's a very heavily wooded community. It's the fall. It's just about nighttime. The last little bit of light is on the horizon. The red and yellow light of the sunset, the red and the yellow of the trees. It's very pretty, actually, probably. Val and Shun in the back probably start to shiver a little bit because it's getting cool. It's that time of the year where when the sun sets, the cold air sets in pretty quickly. And you're going along, and you start to get closer to the center of the town where you I think we established Austin is kind of from the area. You worked in the mall, which is 5 miles away. So you at least have a passing understanding of the town square. And we also know that Stanley lived kind of out in the more rural area nearby because when Z-Day happened, him and his friend, who I always lock up on his name, I want to say
Sandy.
Sandy.
Yeah.
Sandy and Stanley drove into town in the tractor. And let me ask, Val and Sam, where are you guys from? Are you from the area or somewhere else? What do you imagine? Let me pick on you first, Sam. Where do you think Sam's from?
Probably the local area.
Okay. So you're probably familiar with the area too. And Val, where do you think Val's from?
Yeah, I think he works as an EMT in this area beforehand. I think he got into that after college.
Okay, so you guys are all locals, and so you're going into town, and it starts to get a little bit more concentrated. Old homes. Then you start to get a few more commercial buildings, maybe like an insurance agency, and maybe you pass by like an elementary school. It's on sort of the road leading into the town square, and you go up over a rise, and it's getting pretty dark now. So, Austin, you flip on the headlights as you're coming over the rise into the town square, and the headlights come on, and you see the town square. Let me just help to explain this. Let me drag everybody to that map. All right. The town square is a wonderfully symmetrical looking town square. And you guys are coming from the south here down this road. And you come up over the rise and you come into the town square, and you see that there are dozens to 100 zombies or so just kind of milling around. And your truck comes in, and at the noise of the truck, they all turn and start moving towards you with screeches and howls and moans. And quickly they start to sort of swarm, and they have no regard for their safety whatsoever. So Austin, you ram into several. They're climbing up on the hood. They're trying to get in the back. Austin, tell me a little bit, how are you, what's your driving style here? What's your technique to try to handle this?
I think, let me see here. He's still fairly new, but he's been driving the truck for a while. Here's a question. Just for flavor, is this an automatic or is it a stick shift?
I think it's probably an automatic.
Okay.
Isn't everything these days? Or trucks usually, I think trucks are usually probably automatics too, aren't they?
I think it depends on, like, if this was like an off-roading type truck, you might have a manual, right? Because you want to have control over the gear shifting.
Whose friend is Ahmad? Whose ally is that? Is that you, Sam?
Yes,
yeah, it is. So Kyle, you tell us, is Ahmad an off-road kind of guy, or is he a suburban driving through town kind of guy?
Suburban type, I think.
Yeah, so it's probably an automatic.
Okay.
It's nice. It's nice inside. It's got leather seats. You can tell he probably spends like half his paycheck to pay, his car payment on this thing.
In that case, I think a standard like bad at driving games, but that's the most of the experience that Austin has. Driving is going to happen. I think he's popping curbs and just trying to steer away from this guy and keep up the same speed. Never brake, just never brake. Yeah, that is his style.
Okay. And the square it was originally designed, it's wide, it's kind of like a roundabout. But it was real carefree, people would just kind of drive through here and they would just carefully, follow going to the right always. And, everyone was generally pretty polite and allowing other, avoiding accidents. So it's a real wide space. There's a lot wide sidewalks, and there's lots of little stores ringing it. And on each of the corners are 4 of the sort of larger buildings, and one of them is the police station. There's a town hall. There's which includes like a court of some sort. There's what's the other ones? A church and the library. 4 old kind of monumental buildings. And the police station is kind of on the opposite side to the right. Are you aiming for that, or where are you trying to get to if you can get through this swarm of zombies, Austin?
I think, let me see here. I think Austin is definitely asking Stanley for advice. Stanley's in the cab with us?
Yeah, Stanley jumped in, and you're sort of in the back, sitting with Domingo in the cab seats or the bumper seats. I'm going to call them bumper seats. Let's go with that. So Stanley, what do you say? He's like, which way I should go?
Stanley is kind of on the edge of panic as it is, but he's scanning the buildings for some place with a low roof that slightly sheltered from the horde that maybe people could climb out and jump on the roof of near the police station.
Okay, that sounds good. I'm going to come back to that. That sounds like an assess a bad situation for sure. In addition, in this square, there's a lot of abandoned cars. Most of them are just stopped, but several of them have like crashed into each other. A couple look like there was a fire of some sort, or maybe an explosion. Clearly, this area has seen a lot of violence, but right now it's quiet other than the zombies now chasing you. In the very middle is a grassy area, which has a lot of plaques and a very prominent monument of some Civil War general that must have been from this area or somewhere nearby, and like a large plaques that like list all of the people that were killed in the various wars the United States has had. And the zombies, sort of like wandering around through there too. So let's have Stanley, let's have you go ahead and assess a bad situation. So let me take you back to your character sheet. And just a reminder, like if I'm not on the map and you want to look at the map, you can call up the handout and click on the picture in the handout, and it'll pop up a big version of it onto your screen that should be easy for you to read. Stanley, what is assessing a bad situation? I believe is steel. What is your steel?
Steel is 2.
Okay. So you are going to draw 2 cards. Is anyone else also on the lookout maybe to assist with this?
Yeah, I think Austin is. I think once Stanley sort of goes over the idea, Austin is also looking for that.
And normally these police stations have some kind of fenced-in parking lot. Maybe
Uh-huh.
if we could take a scan of that, see if it's been infiltrated.
Okay.
That might be a good target. So,
Okay. I'm going to say, Austin, you're too busy with the chaos of driving. I'm not going to let you assist, but Sam or Val, do you guys have any way you can imagine you can help with Stanley looking around, or what you imagine you'd be doing that?
Yeah, I think Val would be helping. He's in the bed of the truck, so he can actually stand up and get a higher vantage point to scan around.
Okay. All right. That sounds reasonable. So the way this works is, Stanley, you're going to draw your 2 cards for your steal. And then Val, you're going to draw 1 card for each card that Stanley is showing. So he is showing his present card and his trauma card, right? So Val, you're going to draw 2 cards, and if necessary, you can take one of your cards to replace one of his cards to give him a better result. So we'll play it, that's how, I don't think we've done an assist yet, but that's kind of how this works. We'll spell it out better as we go. So Stanley, go ahead and draw us 2 cards from the Survivor deck.
all right. We've got Edge and Miss.
Okay, so you at least got a partial hit. So then, Val, you're going to go ahead and draw. We don't reshuffle. You just go ahead and draw 2 cards.
Edge and a triumph.
Beautiful. So that worked out perfect for you. So what you do is you're going to want to take your best card in this situation, and you're going to replace one of Stanley's cards with your triumph to turn the end result into the triumph.
Perfect.
So Stanley, on assess bad situation, if you look under the handout for basic moves, you get to choose 2 of those questions, and when you act on the answer, you get a draw +1.
Okay. Let's see. We got what is most useful to my allies, and let's see. Oh, what's the best escape route includes way in. So yeah, what's the best way in, and what is the biggest threat? We'll say both of those.
Okay. All right. So
Just to clarify, is each of these slashed areas a different? Would what is the best way in and way past be the better of those options, or?
I think you take the bullet point, and
Okay.
it's just, I think the
Got
slash is just like how you phrase it.
Okay,
But
makes sense.
I pretty much just read it as, don't worry about the slash. It's just basically you're going with what is the biggest threat, and what is the most.
What is the best
escape
way
route?
in?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. The So Val, from your vantage point in the truck, you're trying to hold on, but you're looking around at the same time, and you can see, maybe if you were a little lower, kind of, not, a couple feet higher up, standing up, you're able to see that. Let me go back to the map. You can see that the police station has a ramp. There's on the side, like, there's the entrance that, there's a wide stairwell or wide concrete stairs that kind of rise up to these big, solid red doors in this solid looking brick building. And there's no windows on the ground level, just these doors. And then there's up maybe 10, 12 feet high, there's windows, around the building. But off on the ground floor, and like I said, if you were at the ground level, you'd probably miss it. But off to the side of where the entrance is, there's a wide ramp that leads down to, you would presume, some sort of underground parking area. However, there are you can see that in front of the kind of leading into this parking area, there are these wooden barricades that have someone's created, sort of like crosses, wood kind of lashed together or nailed together, and they have like spikes in them. And there's a lot of like zombies stuck to these things, like they ran themselves into these spikes, so they're like pinned. They're still moving around. They're not dead, but they seem to be stuck on these. So, however, you can see that something has like rammed through part of this barricade, and there is a path you can go to get down into this parking garage area, where these barricades have kind of been forcefully moved to the sides. Stanley, does that answer your question? Because like I think I've said before, whenever there's these list questions, I always feel like I don't answer enough. Do you feel like I've given you enough, or do I miss part of what you earned on your result?
Yeah, I think that covers it.
Okay. So what do you say, going back to where, how we got into that, Austin was saying, where do I go? What do I do? So what do you say?
I point to the gap and say, see if you can slip through there.
Okay, I can do that. You want me to try to drift? You want me to try to drift? I can do that. I watched that movie.
Take it easy. Take it nice and slow.
Okay. No, I mean, fine. Yeah, sure. No, there's dead people chasing us, but I'll be slow. Cool. Okay. And yeah, Austin's going to speed up into the gap and the down ramp.
All right. Let's zoom in for a moment on Sam. You've got zombies coming up, and they're trying to like smash the window and get at you. Do you do anything to kind of help out the situation, or what's your reaction to this whole scene?
Yeah, I'll try to like fight the zombies off.
Okay. You like roll down your window and punch them or something, or I forget what kind of weapon do you imagine you have?
I don't know, some kind of blunt object, I imagine.
Okay. I think we probably established before, but I forget what everybody said they have. I think I remember Stanley said he had like a pointy stick with like a knife stuck to it or something, but I don't remember. Oh, a baseball bat. I think, Austin, you have a baseball. You and Sean had baseball bats. But okay. So we're just going to kind of put that some color. So add some color to the scene. I think what we're going to do is, I think this is going to be a straight avert disaster. And if Austin does well, then hopefully you guys can avoid, the whole dealing with the zombies thing and get to that gap. So Austin, you're going to do avert disaster, which uses survival. Let me take us back to our screen. And you're going to use your survival, and you're going to get that extra +1 from Stanley's assessing the bad situation. So let me recall the cards and shuffle them. So you're going to get 4 cards off the survivor deck, okay? Triumph, looks like you got?
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes not where you guys put the cards, so if you could just read it out for me too, that would help. But I spotted it.
I think it was that.
Okay, so you are completely successful. You drift and speed around through here, kind of crazy, but it works. And you avoid the cars, you avoid the zombies. Zombies grab onto the car, and they're kind of scraped off on some of the derelict vehicles that are stuck in the square. They go, the Sam and Sean and Val kind of kick them off as they try to get on. You keep up your speed, and you actually get, the zombies are sort of herded and then towards you, but then you speed and get past, zig and zag and get past them, and you create enough space that you're able to zoom through the gap where the barricade was and get through. You get to the ramp, and you there's probably, you even get a little bit of air probably as you start to go, smash down and start heading down this ramp. And you have to hit the brakes hard, because at the end of this maybe 30-foot straight ramp going down, there is a steel gate that it closes off the entrance into the parking garage. And there also is another truck there, like a supply or a delivery truck. And it looks very familiar to you. And it says on the side, Pulaski Dry Goods. And if you guys don't remember, that was the truck that Stanley and Austin saw Dr. Jones drive off in. And it has stopped here also. And it's just sitting there. And its lights are on. It's off, but the lights are on. What do you guys do? Your car is stopped now, and you're at rest at the bottom of this ramp.
I guess put on the parking brake and wait. I'm going to stay at the wheel. Anybody who wants to step out, I'll be ready. I'll be ready to go at a moment's notice.
Val will jump out from the back of the bed with his large wrench in his hand. And I'm assuming at some point someone informed Val about the doctor and what happened, her leaving the community.
Well, let me check in, make sure that's true. Had you guys told Val or Sam or both about what you saw or heard from the doctor? There was a gap of time that we kind of jumped a little bit where,
right,
you were all back together in the ER. And then there was the whole kind of MacGyver period where Stanley was putting together his sound maker. So there definitely could have been a period where you guys had shared this with him. Maybe there's a flashback in this episode. There would maybe be a flashback to you guys if you had told him about it. What do you think, Austin and Stanley?
Stanley probably wouldn't have said anything beyond that she's taken off and left.
Okay.
Yeah, I think same for Austin.
Incidentally, I think I forgot to remove a stress for letting her go and avoiding the confrontation. I don't know if I should take that, but got it.
Okay, so good to know. So Val's intention getting out of the truck, not knowing who or where the truck may belong to or where it came from. I'm going to go specifically check the gate.
Mm-hmm.
While keeping an eye to look and see as I walk by, is there anyone in the cab of the truck? And then I'm looking to see, is this gate, can we open it, or what's its status?
Okay. And Austin's at the wheel. And what about you other guys, Sam and Stanley? You guys do anything other than hang out in the truck?
Stanley's getting out. He's using Sandy's rifle, keeping an eye behind us.
So to get out, you'd have to climb over Sam or Austin because they're in the, you're jammed in this back little Cubs, or I messed it already. I forgot what I was going to call it, but you're this little seat in the back. And Domingo, I think we described, he's a big guy. So between you and him, every bit of space here is, covered. And we also described before that in the midst of picking you up, the Austin hit the brakes and it caused the Val to smash into the back window of the truck, the cab. So there's a bunch of glass kind of Domingo's like trying to pick it apart, and he's got like little cuts, and so it's awkward in this little back seat. So do you climb over Sam or Austin, or try to like climb out the back without cutting yourself?
I'll wait till Austin is out of the cab before
Okay.
moving.
Yeah, I mean, Sam's getting out to like come help investigate or whatever too.
Okay, so you follow Sam then. So Austin, you're staying at the wheel, truck's running, it's rumbling, and you got the parking brake on, and the other three guys get out, and Domingo's like, Domingo is Val's friend, is that right?
Yeah.
Domingo's like, hey boss, you need some help?
Just hold on a second. Let's see what the situation is.
Okay. So Val, let's go ahead and do another assess a bad situation. And that's using your steel. And it sounded like Sam, we'll say Sam was helping on this one. So what's your steel, Val?
Mine is 2.
Okay. And you have two cards showing. So Kyle, you're going to draw 2 cards after Val draws. I shuffled it. Go ahead and draw 2.
Edge and a miss.
Okay. And then Sam, go ahead and draw 2 cards. See if you can find that triumph. Okay. So you end up, the best you got is an edge. So you're going to get 1 question from the assess the bad situation. And when you act on the answer, you're going to draw a +1.
What here is most useful to me?
Okay. So you see that first of all, at least from walking by, and you're probably a good 10, 15 feet away from the delivery truck, and you can kind of look over that way in the cab, but it's dark in here. There's no lights. Like I said, darkness is falling quickly here in Glendale. And you don't see any shadow or shape of a person in the cab. You see any movement either. So it looks empty. It's closed, but it looks empty. It also doesn't look damaged, but like I said, just the lights are on. I guess the headlights are, so that might help you be looking, ahead towards the gate. And that's what you notice more about. You see that the gate, it's, I'm not sure how you would see this. Maybe it's more testing it. So you get there and, you kind of grab the gate and kind of like try to see if you can move it. And you can tell it's real rattly and shaky on its hinges, or on its whatever you call it, and you have a sense that it's possible that you might be able to, through brute strength or through tools, maybe bust through or raise this thing. It is locked, but it doesn't seem very firm.
Yeah, and I think at that point, Val calls back to the truck, yells for Diego. What's his name, right? Domingo. Tells him, "Hey, Domingo, grab your tools and get down here. I think we can jimmy this thing open and get the truck inside before those things break through that barricade up there."
Okay. And mentioning that, indeed, you do hear, some moaning coming closer. You don't see any zombies yet, though. So Domingo climbs out quickly. Like I said, he's got little cuts, but he's not hurt badly. And he comes over and he's got his tool belt and he says, "Okay, what's the job?"
get this thing open. Maybe we can snap the lock just through some pressure. You got a crowbar or anything, or
Mhm.
Well,
do
if
we?
this is the,
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that if the doctor came through here, then there must already be a way in. Any sign of that?
There's sort of like a intercom button to the side.
Oh,
Okay, so when we notice that, I think I'll pose the question to the group of like, what do y'all think? What are the odds this thing still works?
if there's anybody here, they might be less likely to. I think we'd be better off at this point asking for forgiveness rather than permission.
I think I agree with you on that point, Stanley. So yeah, let's get to it then. Let's get this gate open.
Okay. So we are going to do the move called NPC allies. So Domingo sounds like he's kind of doing his thing on this gate to try to get this open. So you're going to draw, John, you're going to draw 2 cards from the survivor deck. Let me recall and shuffle it. And let's see, you're going to draw 2 cards. If the action is aligned with the ally skills, we're going to draw +1. So he gets that. If he has equipment or useful materials, draw +1. I think we'll let him have that too. So you're going to draw 4 cards for Domingo to see if he can get this gate open.
All right. Miss. Another miss. An edge. And an edge.
Okay. On an edge, the plan works, but the GM chooses from one of these 3 options. They suffer a terrible loss. They endure serious harm. They reveal their true nature. So this gate, John, how does he get this gate open? Mechanically, what does he do? Put the pressure on you to describe this because I can't think of anything.
I think he goes over to the edge of the gate where the like roller of the mechanism is, and kind of cracks it open and frees up the gearing to be able to go not smoothly, but with enough force we can force it past.
Okay. Force to raise. You raise the gate. Is that what you're imagining happening?
It takes like both of us, straining to pull this open because we're pushing against all the resistance that should be holding it closed.
Okay.
And we push it open for the truck to drive under.
Okay. So you do so, and you turn to wave for Austin to drive the truck up. And the truck starts to move forward, and Domingo's like, hey, look at this. And you hear an explosion. He's going to suffer serious harm. I don't know if I don't think we draw on this. I think it pretty much just happens. No, I think we will draw on this. We'll draw to see what happens. So in this game, when you don't have hit points, so when you suffer harm, if the fiction makes it clear that you're dead or you're not really damaged at all, then we just go with the fiction. But when things are up in the air, especially when they describe what's serious harm, then there is a move for that. It is. I'm not sure if you guys have that move on your sheets anywhere. I don't think it's on basic moves, is it? It is on, I think it might be,
It's on the Game Master.
Game Master Playmat.
Playmat.
Okay. So, John, this is your friend. So we're going to have you draw for Domingo to see his fate. So what has happened is, well, let's wait to see what happens, and then I'll describe better how this came to happen. When you suffer serious harm, you're going to draw a card from the survivor deck. And we start with one card. We draw an additional card for each true statement. Is the harm accidental or unintentional? No. The harm isn't explicitly lethal. No, this is lethal harm. Does he have cover, body armor, or a bodyguard? I don't believe he does. Does he? Does he have armor or anything on his sheet?
Nope.
Okay. So we are just drawing one card for Domingo. Let me recall the cards, shuffle them. All right, John, one card for us.
A triumph.
A triumph. Outstanding. A triumph, it's a minor but heroic wound. Okay. So Domingo has, you guys don't see this, but the camera does. And so as you turn, Domingo, happy with his efforts at his success, he has moved forward into this area, and he has tripped over a line that was running along inside of a tripwire. He's tripped a tripwire, and a shaped explosive mine, a claymore, has exploded, thrown shrapnel across, the gap. And only because he tripped and fell dramatically on his face, scraping up the side of his face, in addition to the other little cuts that he's had, has he somehow, the shrapnel all flew over his head, and there's you guys turn to see the smoke and see him lying there. And the opposite wall, you hear there's chunks of metal stuck into the opposite wall. And he is, he's holding his cross, and he's crossing himself, and he's muttering a prayer in thanks of what he just survived.
I picture he's got his construction helmet on too, and he comes up, and you see there's a dent of metal sticking out of it. I'm just like,
right,
whoa.
Right. What do you do?
So the truck, we've got the truck in now.
Do you continue to have the truck come in?
Yeah. Austin, I think his foot's on the gas, and he probably jerks the truck a little forward from the surprise.
Okay. So luckily enough, there are no other tripwires or anything that happen. You come in, and Sam and Stanley slam the gate shut as zombies start to appear at the top of the ramp and make their way down. And within a few moments, they start pounding away at this gate, but they're not getting in, and they're not smart enough to raise it, the way you guys did. So you find yourself, illuminated by the headlights of your truck and also the Pulaski dry goods truck. You find yourself in an underground parking garage. It's not super big. Has anybody played the game Resident Evil 2, the remake that just came out? Anybody played that? Because that's where I'm stealing from. So if you've played it, imagine the parking garage that appears in that game, but it doesn't work for you guys. So there are probably about 10 cars in here. Half of them, are, unmarked regular cars. There are several police sedans, and there's one SWAT truck, a semi-armored SWAT truck kind of parked to the side. There are two exits. There are two exits out of this place. There is a door to your left, and there's another door kind of straight ahead, which has a sign next to it. It's the one closest to you, and it says stairs, stairwell, something like that.
Well, I think it's safe to say, or there's a good chance that we might be crashing someone's party here.
We better stay silent.
You guys are gonna move quietly. Which way do you want to go? The unmarked door or the stairwell?
If we have a moment, I'd like to try the door to the SWAT vehicle.
Okay.
You never know, maybe it's unlocked.
Okay. It is indeed locked.
Okay.
The door to to this, it has like it has like a passenger door, it has a driver's side door, and it also has like solid like armored car or armored truck doors in the back that you would open up. And stealing from a movie again, this is maybe not as obscure, but Terminator 2, remember, you guys ever seen Terminator 2? In Terminator 2, when they towards the end, when they're in the SWAT truck and the helicopter's chasing them, and that's the SWAT truck I'm imagining. So stealing from that, visualize that when you think of this truck. So unfortunately, they are all locked.
And none of the obvious places have a stashed key.
No, I'm just going to say no. No, there's no
Okay,
obvious
fair.
key
Right.
spot. Yeah.
That stinks. If we were potentially coming up against anybody, being armed would be a little nice, but I guess, you go to war with the army you have.
Mhm.
Right, Sam? And then I jab him in the stomach.
Let's check that first, that unmarked door first, I think.
Okay. So you're moving quietly over that way, or as quietly as possible. Is anybody not going along? You got your crew. There's 6 of you guys. Anybody do anything different, or are you all kind of just moving as a group, off to the side there? Okay. So this door is open. You just latch it and push it open, and you move into it's dark, and it's kind of there's like it's just dark, and there's blank hallways with a couple doors, and the door, there's like boiler room, and there's like plumbing room or whatever. It's clear that this is sort of like the maintenance area for the police station. Do you want to look around to see if you find anything interesting and useful, or you just kind of move through? What's your plan?
It sounds like mostly mechanical or regular things so far. I mean, I think we're here for guns, right, y'all? So I say we keep pressing on, not waste time going through these other rooms, but...
Okay. So you guys turn around, and now you're going to head to the stairwell. The stairwell door, you go to push it, and it's not locked, but it seems to be it's barricaded from the other side. It's possible to get through here, but it would take some effort or explosives or machinery, something. You're going to need to do something to get this door open, probably.
And can we tell if what's the resistance? Is it possibly another trap?
Could be.
Yeah.
It's the door. It feels like the door. I think it's fair enough to say it feels like the door is barred. So like you can unlatch. It's not locked like the latch, but like when you go to push it, you can feel like it doesn't give it all. There's something very solid blocking the door from the other side.
Okay. Hmm.
I got my Juggernaut power to smash through scenery.
Beautiful. That's what I was imagining might work. Kyle, read that for us and we'll see how that works.
When you smash your way through scenery to get to or away from something, draw savagery. On a hit, you get what you want.
Sounds perfect. Describe for us what that looks like. So everybody's standing there. They're like, what do we do?
I guess I'm just gonna kick the door a bunch.
Okay. So that is you. What's your savagery?
2.
Okay. So go ahead and draw 2 cards for us.
2 misses.
Okay. What's it say it happens on a miss? Let me see if
On
I
a
can.
miss, you smash through without care. Draw a card from the bite deck.
All right.
Threat, something breaks.
All right. And will you move that bite card over to our discard in the bottom right of our play area? Just to keep our bite cards all together. And I'll recall the survivor cards. Okay, something breaks. What breaks is your foot. You kick, and this door blasts open. It had some sort of bar that you've bent enough that it's come off of the hinges on the inside. And unfortunately, though, you have fractured your foot. You feel a crack, and you can continue to walk around, limping around, but we'll keep that in mind sort of for kind of our fictional placement, fictional positioning as we move forward. Okay. So you smash this open, and there is a stairwell that goes up. It's clear and it's dark. Who's going to lead the way?
Hey, I think maybe no one's heard us yet. I can take point on going upstairs if that works for everybody. Everybody knows I'm quiet sometimes, and so I can take point.
Okay. You going to go by yourself, or are you just kind of leading the way?
I'll go by myself to scout things out.
Austin, that's going to take forever, man. Why don't we just follow behind you? You go ahead of us
I
a
say
little bit.
let him.
Yeah,
I say let him go. I'm gonna. Stanley's gonna quick take a look in the utility room to see if there's anything that Val can use. I mean that Sam can use as a crutch.
Okay. I'm just going to say yes. You find a pole or something that he can use to kind of help move around.
Right.
That's not a biggie. And we are going to, let me see. I think we will have, I'm sorry. What did you guys decide that just Austin's going by himself, or that the rest of the guys are going to? I guess Stanley was going to go get the crutch, but it was everybody else waiting down here at the kind of the parking garage level, or were they following Austin?
I think on camera you see, that like brief little conversation. Austin goes off. And then Stanley kind of takes Sam and just like, hey, let's get you something for that foot. And then you see Val standing there, kind of looking around, just like, fuck this. And he goes walking up the stairs behind Austin.
Okay. Let's. What about Sam? What are you doing? Are you just waiting to get your crutch, probably?
Yeah, I guess I'll probably take after them as soon as I got a crutch.
As soon as you can, sure. And the crutch will definitely help, but I mean, just to be clear, you can move around even without it. You're just going to be slow, probably. Okay, so I think what we'll do. I think Austin, we're going to have you make an assess a bad situation, I think is how this will play out. So let me make sure I recalled and shuffled. So that uses your steal.
Okay. Let's see here. We got a miss. Oh, let me check what my steal is. Oh, it's 3. Okay. Second card is a miss. Ooh. And third card is an edge.
Okay, you saved it. So you get to pick one of those questions as you're going up these stairs.
Okay. I think I'm going to go with what here is most useful to me / my allies.
Okay. You move up these stairs and you get to the landing, presumably what would be the ground floor, and there's the stairs sort of switch back and they go up another level, and you see someone standing there in the dark, on sort of, on the, on the switchback, on the going to the upper level. So you're approaching this ground floor, and you can see, maybe there's a gap, between the upstairs that you're coming on and the upstairs going, up the other way, and you can see some legs, standing there. The person, whoever it is, whatever it is, standing silently and still. And then Val starts to storm up the stairs behind you. What do? You got this brief moment to react or do something, Austin.
Oof. That's a tough call. I think hearing Val, Austin is going to. Val's kind of a ways down the stairs. It's like it takes several seconds to get back down there.
Couple seconds. Val's approaching quickly, storming up the stairs with determination.
I think Austin is going to, quick as a mouse, is going to turn back and try and intercept Val and move Val to a place of cover, so that they're not within eyesight, even through that gap, that railing gap.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, like directly under this person, but I don't think the steps go that way. We're not like multiple iterations of these steps up yet. So yeah, is gonna try and push Val against the stairwell wall, and with the other hand cover Val's mouth.
Yeah, just as your hand shoots up to his mouth, you hear him start to speak, and it's just like,
Shut up now.
Okay. I'm trying to think if there's a move here at all. I think what it's going to be is, Val, you're going to make a probably you're going to make an avert disaster, but you're going to get that +1 that that Austin got from spotting this person or thing on the stairs. So that's using your survival. What's your survival, Val?
It is 2.
Okay, so you're going to draw 3. Let me make sure I recalled and shuffled.
Should Val be the one making this pool? Because I don't really even know about the situation.
Yeah. I guess it's a matter. I guess.
I could see it making sense for Austin.
Right. So, but he's trying to make you be quiet.
Yeah, and so I think
which I would say it might be even more like soul. But let me look quickly at the base. We can all we've all played a couple sessions. You guys tell me if you feel there's a better way of capturing this moment. Basically, what I'm trying to figure out is, can Austin get Val to be quiet in time to not alert this person to you being there?
What I think, just an idea, I think it would make sense for Austin to be trying to avert disaster, and then Val would actually be interfering.
That's interesting. I like that. Yeah, let's do that. That's a good idea. So that would be Austin averting disaster with your survival. You get the +1 because you spotted this guy. And then Val is going to interfere. And you have, how many cards do you're showing 2 cards. So you're going to pick 2 cards to replace from Austin's draw.
Okay.
So I think you're drawing 4 cards.
I'm drawing 4 cards?
Your survival's 3, right?
Yes.
And then you get the +1 from the assess the bad situation.
Oh, right. Okay.
So you're getting 4.
Great. Start out with a triumph.
Yeah.
An edge, a opportunity, it's a good hand, and a miss.
Okay. And
Now,
then Val is trying to interfere indirectly, or inadvertently, I suppose. So you're going to draw 2 cards.
miss and an edge, and so I'll replace his triumph with a miss.
Right. So he ends up. So you have that choice. Then you can get the edge, which is a mixed success, or you can get the opportunity by spending a stress. You can turn it into a success or a triumph.
This is a perfect point to push myself and turn that opportunity into a triumph.
Okay, great. So mark a stress. And how is it you push yourself and end up gaining stress doing this?
I think, okay, so I think as I'm covering up Val's mouth and saying, shut up, he bites a finger.
Mm-hmm.
And just give him a good slap across the face, which is because he was sort of a mentor figure to me. Like this is not something that Austin's not terribly violent anyway. Well, he's Austin is, his temper is riled up because his finger was just bit, but he's also trying to stay as quiet and calm as possible and convince his cohort to do the same.
Okay.
Yeah, you get like a death glare at first, but then it clicks with Val of like, all right, something must be up because this kid would not dare slap me when he knows I can just pick him up and throw him.
Right. And Shun, because he's loyal, Austin's his bud. Shun gets in the middle and he kind of half threatens you with his baseball bat, but he knows he can tell what Austin's doing. He's trying to keep everything quiet. So Shun's he's shh, and he threatening to hit you if you hit Austin. But you guys all successfully quiet down, and it's quiet in the stairwell again. Stanley and Sam's standing at the bottom, kind of hanging against or leaning against the doorwell, and Stanley's off looking for something in the maintenance area. What do you do next?
Okay, there's someone right above us on the steps. There's no way to sneak past them. So I think the answer is we hope that they're not bad people and reach out. I bet they can hear this right now. And if they can, I'm basically just a child. I'm just a kid. So if you can hear this, I'm just a kid. You can come out now.
And a person does indeed, step down, down to the landing above you, probably about 10 feet away from you. And it's a big person, and they are dressed in riot gear. So they've got like a riot helmet and like a body shield and like an actual physical shield. And they've got like a truncheon, like a police truncheon. And it says, on the front of it, police, and the shield says police. And, their voice resonates a little bit from inside this helmet. And it's like a deep man's voice. It's like, I hear you, kid. What are you doing here? What do you want?
We are survivors from Sacred Heart Hospital. Oh, shouldn't have said that. Okay. We were hoping this place was abandoned and we were gonna, get, guns and stuff. We could really use some guns and ammunition to help the other survivors at Sacred Heart Hospital to survive.
I guess you didn't get the message when the explosion happened. I don't want anybody here. Just get out of here. Go.
So when you say, I don't want anybody here, singular first person pronoun, and not we don't want anybody here, that interests me. So I don't know if the plan to talk to him was a good plan. Sure, we will just go down these steps and leave. No,
we'll say Stanley arrives right about now with a pole of some sort for Sam. So, and you guys, Sam and Stanley, you both you're not that far away. You're maybe 20 feet away at the bottom of the stairs, and you see and hear all of this. Okay.
I'm gonna be like, wait, let me like come up and talk to you. Look, I'm injured here. I'm no threat. Just let me come up and talk.
He goes, say what you want from down there. Coming in closer is going to be trouble. What do you got to say?
Yeah, I'm just gonna start like walking up the stairs towards him and gesturing for the other ones to like head down, just like, moving slow, like, hey, I'm no danger, making a big deal that I'm, having trouble with the stairs, what with the foot.
Okay. So I think it's going to require a roll or a draw then for see how he reacts to that. I think that you are trying to calm an NPC down at this point. I think, Austin, if you want, you can be assisting on this. I think your attempts also would probably help with this. So, Sam, calming an NPC down uses soul. What's your soul?
It says steel.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. It is steel.
It's 3.
Oh, great. So you're going to draw 3.
Triumph.
Oh, great. Oh, we can ignore the rest of the rolls then, or the rest of the cards. So on a triumph, on a hit, they won't do anything drastic. On a triumph, you get to pick 2 from the list. This is one of those lists where you pick 2 things that happen, or you pick 2 that you want, and unfortunately, the one you don't pick will actually happen that isn't what you want.
I pick they keep calm for some time and they reveal their true concerns.
Okay. Okay, let me make a note that if things go pear-shaped, this guy might hold you responsible. So he lets you come up, and what else do you say to calm him down? You are going to succeed. So what is it you say in attempting to get him to calm down?
Tell him we want to talk to the doctor.
There's a doctor here. Oh, right. Actually, wait, did he reveal his true concerns?
Yeah, let me give you something to play with there then. So he goes, look, I'm sorry if I hurt any of you guys with the claymore. I just want to keep those zombies out of here. I don't mean to hurt any of you guys.
I'm just gonna get closer, kind of fish out my wallet with my offhand and be like, not making any threats. Just I want to show you something. Just take a look at this for me. And when I get close, I'm gonna pull out a secret shiv and just stab him.
Okay, all right. Great. I guess we will go right to turn to violence then. And I think this is, did anybody expect this at all? Honestly? Maybe, Austin? Okay. I'm going to pretty much just, I'm not going to give anybody an opportunity to enter, or, well, Austin, would you try to interfere with this happening, or would you let it fly? What would you do is you see him pull out a knife and, maybe he has it behind his back or something, and he pulls it out and he goes to stab this guy. Would you do anything at all, or
No, probably
Okay.
turn his head
Okay.
and not look. But other than that, no.
Okay. All right. So Sam, you're going to turn to violence, and that is drawing savagery. Let me recall the cards. Just to fish and remind people how this works. Sam, do you have any other cards maybe to show at this point? Any of your past or your trauma that you would like to lay out here, or that might be exposed by this interaction, or you want to keep those all face down right now?
I don't think I can reveal anything yet.
Okay, great. All right. So turning to violence, you're going to draw savagery. So your savagery is what?
2.
2. I'm tempted. It's not in the rules. They don't have anything for this, but I'm tempted to give you an extra card just because of this total surprise. However, he does have the pretty significant body armor. But I think that goes. Let's just say well, let me see the results on this. Yeah. So I think what we'll do, we're going to give you an extra card for the total surprise. But his body armor will go into play to how much damage he takes, depending on how this goes. Okay. So you're going to draw 3 cards on the survivor deck.
Okay.
All right.
Opportunity.
Do you want to take a stress and turn that into a triumph?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you have another pick list on turning to violence. You get to choose, because you got a triumph, you get to choose 3 out of the 4 on this list. Inflict terrible harm, suffer little harm, resist marking stress, and avoiding collateral damage. So the way this works, like a lot of the apocalypse world based games, is that when you do get into combat, you give harm, but you also take harm automatically. So in this, I will tell you, in this situation, given the surprise, if you choose inflict terrible harm, you're going to kill him. You're going to stab him through the head or something, right? If you don't choose suffer little harm, you're going to suffer serious harm, which will lead to another draw. And in this game, whenever you turn to violence against another human, you always take stress unless you choose to not take stress.
Okay. I'm going to inflict terrible harm, suffer little harm, and avoid collateral damage.
Okay. So you will take a point of stress then.
Yes.
Okay. So mark a stress. So you tell me how this looks. So you kill him. He doesn't harm you much at all. And there's no collateral damage. So I'm going to give you the narrative power. What does this look like?
I think I just get the knife into like his neck somewhere, like between the armor and stuff, and he just bleeds out real fast.
Okay. So this big guy in this heavy armor, you pull the knife out, you step to the side, he tumbles down the stairs, rolls down in a pool, quickly, build or quick, a spray of blood, and he dies. At your feet, Stanley.
Damn.
And I think at this point I reveal my past. I'm a contract killer.
Okay.
Oh shit.
You're gonna right-click the card to flip it over. There you go. Go ahead and read that for us, would you?
To reveal this card, end a human life without warning. When you turn to violence against uninfected, draw steel instead of savagery.
Okay. This definitely looks like a good place to flip that card. All right. How do you guys react? The other three. Shun is shocked. Domingo he says something in Spanish. I guess that's all the other NPCs here. What the three of you guys do when you see this happen?
Val walks up and pats Sam on the back and says, "Damn, man. Didn't expect that, but hey, makes sense to me. It's us or them now."
Mm-hmm. You guys at the bottom, or halfway to the bottom, you see he has like a police uniform on underneath his, underneath the armor. Like I said, he's a big guy. The clinical wound, he's still got his arm. He just has this nasty cut, in just the right spot in his neck.
Well, better check him for a firearm.
Mm-hmm. He definitely has a pistol. He has a 9mm pistol, fully loaded. He also has a set of keys on his belt.
I look at Sam and say, "Maybe you should be the one carrying that gun too. It seems like you know how to carry yourself."
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
I'll take his truncheon. It's more my
There you
speed.
go.
Sure.
Stanley will hold on to the keys.
All right. What's your next step?
So is this the top of the stairs, or is there another floor above it?
There's another floor. So there's he was, this all had, Sam stabbed him at the top, at the landing. There was a door that leads into presumably the ground floor of the police station, but there were more stairs. He was kind of lurking on the stairs going even further up to the upper floors. But yeah, there's at the top of the stairs where Sam is standing right now, there is a door leading into the ground floor.
I'd say we head up higher.
Sure.
Okay. You progress up the stairs, and it is quiet and dark, but no other dangers, make themselves apparent. And you come to the upper floor, the top of the stairs. There's only one other floor. It goes up. There's a couple. It's apparent that the ground floor was, a couple stories high, we might say. So real high ceilings for the ground floor. So you go up a few extra, what do they call
Landings.
landings, or not landings, but like you go back and forth a couple times before you get to the upper floor. But then it's the top of the police station, and there's another fire door leading into the upper story. You go inside, I presume, and there's a wide hallway, and there are lots of offices on each side. And I'm just going to give you kind of, there's, just kind of the quick version. We'll kind of jump ahead, actually. Probably a good way of doing this. We'll just jump ahead. What is it you guys want to find here? What's your number one goal?
Weapons and other supplies.
Okay. You find the armory, and there's a very solid door that leads into the armory, but one of the keys opens it up. You go inside, and there are, military style weapon boxes and satchel bags. There are a lot of the weapons are missing. You see there's a rack where there would be shotguns and, assault rifles. This, I guess we haven't established if any of you guys have police type training, but I think it would be apparent to you, for a little community police station, they've got a lot of weapons here, and they've got some pretty heavy duty stuff. There are several assault rifles. There are several, there's a lot missing from the racks, but there are still several assault rifles. There are several military style automatic shotguns, lots of ammunition. There's a small box with grenades. There are plenty of handguns. If you want anything in addition to that, maybe we could do a forge roll, but pretty much it's pretty well loaded with weaponry. Maybe like Val calls out and you find there's another room nearby that there's not a lot of food, but there's a fair amount of food in this room. And I think Austin probably finds there's a small infirmary. And it also, is strangely well equipped. And on a bed in the infirmary is Dr. Jones. And she's got a bandage around her head. She's got like a big bump, and like it's a little bit of blood is seeping through, where she's gotten a wound to her head, and she's unconscious. She's sleeping or knocked out or something. But she's breathing, and she doesn't seem to be bit or anything.
Have we seen or heard any other people wandering around the building?
Nope. No signs of other people at all. There's like lockers, and most of them are empty. Like put it this way, the lockers are like where the police would go and like change from their civilian to their, their work clothing. And most of them have civilian clothes in them. Only a few actually have the police uniforms inside. And we'll say that there's a chief's office. The captain, I guess it would be the police captain, and there's an office, and it's sort of at the end of the hall. That door is locked, though.
And not opening with the keys that we have?
No.
All right. I think Stanley's going to search around quietly at best, but try to determine if this one guy was holding down the fort by himself, or if there's signs of like other people hold up with him.
Okay. What do you other guys do? Stanley's gonna check around. I pretty much what I've described is pretty much covered this upper floor. So Stanley, you're going to be moving into the lower floor to look around too.
Correct.
Okay. Anybody else want to do anything while Stanley moves off to check out the ground floor?
So Val would absolutely confront the doctor, but I will throw it to the group. Would we have a scene of the group conferring before that scene happens, because he's going to go talk to her. It's just a question of like, is there a, group powwow, or do we see Val go into the room and he's just like, what is this?
Well,
Yeah,
she is
does
still unconscious, so we'll see if that's.
So does anybody
I'm
anybody, let's put it this way. Let's do it, like we're creating a story. So does anybody want to be in a scene like that with Val? Val's going to be trying to confront the doctor. Does anybody want to be involved in that?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. So you guys lay it out for me. What does that scene look like? Austin and Val and Shun will be there. How about Domingo? Is Domingo with you, Val?
Yeah, I think sort of like hanging back though. He's like back by the door. Maybe he's kind of uncomfortable with the whole scenario.
Sure.
Sorry, I might have misheard. She's unconscious, or she's resting.
She looks to be unconscious. She may be sleeping. She may be knocked out. You're not sure.
Okay.
Now you are an EMT, so you can definitely assess that probably with some professional knowledge.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to start. Val would probably yell something at her first, and then if she's not responsive, go and check, what her status is.
Okay. So she doesn't immediately respond. She doesn't show any. She seems to be unconscious, like knocked out. So that's clear. And so let's pick up there, Austin. You hear him yell, wake up or something to Dr. Jones, and you come into the room, and you see him starting to like check her out.
Val, she's not asleep. There's a bandage on her head, man. Check her out. Like, she needs care, not yelling at. It's wild that we caught up with her. I thought like maybe there were a lot of Pulaski deliveries on the the bad day, the Z day. But I guess there was the same truck that she took.
What, Austin? What the hell are you talking about, man? What is she doing here? She's not even supposed to be here.
I don't know. She was gonna go to the CDC. I think it's somewhere in Missouri. She took a bunch of food and drugs and stuff to like help a big survivor community. And I tried to stop her, like everybody who saw her tried to stop her, but like, I don't know. I guess she got waylaid here. I don't know. But also, did you see how cool I was when I was driving? I totally could have driven an ambulance for you, man. That would have been awesome. We could have been like the best team of EMTs. I could have been like the best ambulance driver. I could have drifted into I could have done like a 180 turn up so that like the back of the ambulance is up against the hospital when I come to park it. That would be righteous, right?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Hey, Austin, do you remember those smelling salts we used to keep in the ambulance? I saw an infirmary around. Could you go grab me? Go check out the infirmary and see if they've got any of that around. We got to talk to the doc. I got to find out what's going on.
You guys are right in the infirmary right now. So,
gotcha. Yeah.
There's probably a drawer right there with smelling salts. So I think what we'll do you want to obstruct that at all, Austin, or do you just want to, go along with what he's doing?
Yeah, go along at this point.
Okay.
It seems like he's fairly chill.
Okay, so I think we'll use your EMT move on this. How does that work again, John?
That's when I administer first aid. Draw plus when we perform emergency first aid or medical procedures.
Okay, so I think I guess this would be sort of the catch-all, which would be avert disaster. But, well, let me look. Let me see. You know what? I'm not even going to make you roll. You can just do it. I'll tell you this. You can tell that she has suffered a concussion. She's banged her head really badly. And you look, I don't know how you assess it, but maybe you look in her eyes with
like the pupils or something.
Yeah, you check her pupils, and you can tell I'll give you an option. You can try to get her to wake up, maybe with some stimulants or something, but she's going to be really messed up. And it might be dangerous for her.
Yeah. No, at this point, Val diagnoses, I think she's concussed. She's not responsive. I'll pick her up and I'm going to start carrying her. And I just tell Austin, we're taking her back with us.
Okay.
I don't know what harebrained scheme she was on, but we're taking her back. Are you telling me that truck out there is full of our food?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the boxes were marked for Administrator Schumer, but I think it was still our
I
food.
don't care what they're marked. That was the community's food. We're gonna be talking about this later. All right.
We could actually stay here till morning.
Well, you're downstairs right now. We're going to pick up with you. Let's
Okay.
take a break, and we will pick up with Stanley checking out the ground floor, okay? So let's take 10 minutes. I'll see. My clock says 9:37, so I see you guys at 9:47, 9:50, somewhere like that, okay?
Got it.
So I will catch you in a few. Okay. So what we're going to do next is we're going to see what happens with Stanley checking out the ground floor. And then we're going to kind of, what we're going to do is we're going to make a plan how you guys are going to go from here in the police station through the zombies back to your hospital. Okay. So the other guys start thinking about like what your plan might be. And, just to kind of, grease the wheels or kind of keep everything in play in your minds. There's a lot of resources that we've kind of thrown out in the last half hour or so checking out this police station. So you've got your truck downstairs, Ahmad's truck, the pickup truck. You've got that SWAT truck, down there. You've got the Pulaski truck, which has got your food and medicine in it. You've got lots of weapons and armor and ammunition here. You've got a supply of food, another supply of food, not a lot, but some. You've got a supply of medicines and bandages and whatnot. And you've got Dr. Jones. So you got all of these parts that you can bring into your plan if you want to. Okay. So let's pick up with Stanley. So Stanley, you go out the door, you go down the stairs, to the ground floor, and you go in, and you're at sort of like, it's a fairly open area, and you're sort of at it's like the front part, you're at the back. Well, I guess no, I guess you'd be more at the front of the police station. So yeah, you come out into sort of the front part of the police station. And there's you're like in a big like waiting area or like greeting area, and there's like there's benches and chairs along the walls, and it's real high ceilings in here. And then there's sort of like a wooden glass barrier, and there's like an open office area back there behind, and there's like a desk up in the front where people would come and talk to the police officer that was on duty or whatever. And but it's generally a pretty wide open area. So there's this sort of waiting area in the front, and you see off to your, I guess it would be probably, I imagine it off to your right is where those big solid oak double doors are that would lead out to the outside. And like everywhere else here, it's very dark. It's very quiet. What do you do? Or where do you want to look around?
Stanley is avoiding any place that would be likely to be trapped. So not crossing over any barricades.
Okay. I will tell you. Okay, that's a very good idea. So you avoid those big red doors, and you're not going to find much in this sort of waiting room area. There's no desks or papers or computers. There's nothing really to check out. If you want to check stuff out, you're kind of going to have to go back behind the desk, back into the more office area, office cubicle type area. Do you want to go back in there?
Sure.
Okay. Let's go ahead and do an assess a bad situation. So you're using your steal on that. Let me make sure I recalled. Let me make sure I shuffled. What's your steal?
That's 2.
Okay.
So we've got opportunity and miss.
Okay. You want to take that stress and make it a triumph?
Sure.
Okay. Mark a stress, and you get to ask 2 questions off the assess a bad situation.
Right. That's in basic?
Yes.
Okay.
It's in the 3rd column towards the bottom.
So what here is most useful to me? And wonder if we need to start thinking about escape routes or biggest threat. Yeah, well, since I'm mostly looking to see if there's anyone else in the building that he's hold up with, it would in fact be biggest threat.
Okay. All right. So the biggest threat. So first of all, this office area is it's pretty tidy. There's some papers out and stuff, but it doesn't look like a big mess. It doesn't look like there was a fight or anything back in here. There's a lot of dust on a lot of the papers and the chairs and the computer screens and stuff. There's no power, so none of the stuff is on. It doesn't look like anybody's really been back in here, except right at the back of the office area, there's one cubicle. You can see that like the office, one of the table, the computer has kind of been thrown off to a corner, and there's a big portable radio set. It's very similar. Do you remember when you saw Dr. Jones talking on a radio set trying to talk to somebody?
Right.
This is very similar to that. This is a very fancy looking, high-tech radio set. It's battery powered. It's currently powered off, but it certainly could be powered on without too much trouble.
But it's not the actual dispatch.
No,
Okay.
this is something else entirely. It even says on the side, it has like a case that it comes in. And so the case is like sitting beside the desk. And on the case, it says in big letters, CDC Lombard, Illinois. CDC Quarantine Facility, Lombard, Illinois, written on it. In terms of dangers and threats, when you went to move back into this area, well, first of all, when you looked at those big red double doors, you saw that there was another Claymore mine set up in a tripwire, right inside those doors. And you stayed well away from that, of course. And when you moved to go into this office area, there was what's another booby trap type thing that somebody would have set up? Anybody got any ideas?
The one that came to my mind is like a shotgun nailed to a wall with a string.
All right, I love it. Yep, a shotgun with a string. Yep. So you avoid, or would you clip the wire or would you step around it?
Probably step around it.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. So you avoid that too. So these booby traps are definitely the biggest threat to you. In terms of no sign whatsoever, as far as you can see, of other people, habitating in this place. So what do you want to do with all of this?
Well, first I'm going to grab that radio.
Okay. You just want to put it in its case and take it with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we've got that locked chief office.
Right.
That's worth figuring out how to get into, I think.
Yeah. It's a long shot, but if you want to do a forage check, we could see if maybe you find it.
Absolutely.
I'm going to say it's going to require at least 3 points of forage to get it. So what you do on that is you draw 3 survivor cards. Let me recall and shuffle. It's a long shot, but it's possible. So draw 3 survivor cards.
All right.
Every hit will be worth a point, and a triumph is worth 2.
1. Okay, well.
You got a whole lot of nothing.
Right.
When you forage, you can push it and draw 3 more cards. The cost is drawing from the bite deck.
I'll skip that.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea. Okay, so no, you don't find anything in addition to what you got. So you got this radio now.
Yeah.
Let's move ahead then. The 4 of you together. What's the plan? So what's the plan to get from here back to the hospital?
So I do like the stay the night idea. I think that makes sense. Probably don't need to be doing this at night if we don't have to. We've got a lot of grenades, so we could potentially start lobbing them from the 2nd floor and clear out a path.
I know of one person here who might not want to stay the night, or we might want to not want to
Isolate
stay the night
them,
with
perhaps?
Yes, there you go.
Yeah, I was thinking we need to talk about that anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll probably turn by morning, so I mean,
You want some of
Rather
these
than-
grenades?
yeah, sure. I mean, I might as well, I guess.
Godspeed.
Yeah, that makes this a lot easier.
Okay, so far we've got Sam throwing grenades from the window.
Is he throwing grenades from the window, or is Sam the grenade?
Oh, I see. I don't know, Sam. What's your plan with the grenades?
I mean, some kind of like, I mean, Sam needs to die in some way, so I guess I might as well go out like that.
So you're gonna like I don't know, run out and
Yeah,
know, throw grenades all over and do as much damage as draw as much attention and kill as many zombies as possible.
I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
And if he's doing that, I think maybe we should go ahead and leave
I agree.
while he's got their attention.
Okay.
I will drive the second. Well, someone should take the take the SWAT wagon and lead. I'll take the moving truck if we can get that more full of gear we need.
Yeah, I think there's like a montage scene of us like pulling as much gear down and loading it in. Probably strapping the doctor into the moving truck. Since we're gonna it sounds like we're gonna use the SWAT vehicle as like maybe a bit of a battering ram if need be.
Yep.
Yeah. Are we leaving Ahmad's truck behind? I guess Ahmad could drive it.
Ahmad's not with you guys. Ahmad stayed behind.
Oh, right. But we've got enough drivers because there's Val, Austin, Domingo, Stanley, Sandy. Did Sandy come?
Sandy's not there either. There's 6
Okay.
of you guys. There's the 4 of you. There's Domingo and there's Sean. Sean doesn't drive though.
Okay.
He's only 15. He doesn't even have his permit.
So I think we have a driver for the 3 vehicles. If we take SWAT van, moving van, truck.
Okay.
Sam will be our human bomb / distraction.
And
Yo,
whoever
and-
the SWAT this I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, and Sean and I can like ride on the tops of these things, and like we can if we have guns, we can just shoot the dead people from up there. It'll be awesome. Like there's this really old movie called Teen Wolf where a guy rides on top of a van and it's awesome.
Just don't shoot anyone. Anyone that's still alive.
Oh, okay.
Let's try to get some distance from the square before we start making any more noise than necessary.
Okay, so what we got so far is the SWAT van is going to come charging through, and then the other 2 vehicles are going to follow, and you guys are just going to try to like bust your way through and speed out of here, while Sam is, going crazy with grenades and guns and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I think so.
sounds like a good plan. Let's place everybody. Let's start with you, Sam. So, where are you going to come bursting out of to make as much noise and do as much damage as possible? You got 2 options, I guess. You could come out through the front door, or you could come up the ramp and get busy that way. What do you imagine?
Probably not. I mean, they'll be driving up the ramp, right? So I guess I'll do the front door to draw them away.
Okay. All right, we'll come back to that. And then who's driving the SWAT van? Val?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll volunteer. I used to drive the ambulance. How
Sure.
different can it be?
You're probably one of the best drivers here. Maybe better than Austin. Anybody with you in the SWAT van?
Domingo, if he's not needed elsewhere. I don't think he is. So
Okay, so we'll have Domingo with you. He's going to be like kind of in the back area. He's like, He's putting on every piece of armor he can possibly find. He replaced his construction helmet with like a like a riot helmet. He's way overloaded. He's got way too many guns on him. And the next vehicle, who's coming? What's vehicle's coming next, and who's driving that one? We've got the Pulaski dry goods truck, and we've got Ahmad's white pickup truck.
I'd say Stan Lee could drive the dry goods.
Okay. And is anybody with you? I guess you were talking about putting Dr. Jones in that truck.
Yeah, well, I'll take the doctor.
Yeah, I was thinking we buckle her in to the
Okay.
passenger seat there.
Okay, that sounds reasonable. That leaves us with Shun and Austin and somebody else. Who am I forgetting? Or maybe that's everybody. 1, 2, 3, 7 people total we should have. So we got 1 coming out the door, 2 in the front truck, then 2 more. That's 4. We got 3 people left. So we got Sean and Austin, and or is that everybody?
I think that's everyone.
Everybody. Yes, 6 people came. We're leaving with Dr. Jones, but she is she's unconscious.
Right. So that makes 7 minus Sam. So there should be 6 people in the vehicle. Oh yeah, that adds up. Never mind. Okay. So, and Austin, you're driving. And Shun, is Shun going to be in the cab with you, or is he riding in the back shooting guns like he was talking about, like you guys were talking about? Or
Oh, I think he's riding in the back shooting guns. He's very excited.
okay. All right. Sounds like a plan can't fail. All right, let's bring this to the cards then. All right, so make a plan as our move. This is a zombie move. This sounds like a plan about violent, dangerous, destructive action. Or do you think it's a plan about careful? No, it's not careful, safe, or stealthy for sure. There's no talking, persuading, or manipulating. Pushing through, being tough and strong. I could see an argument for that one. What do you guys think? Is this a plan about being violent, dangerous, and destructive, or is this about pushing through, being tough and strong and implacable?
I think this is destructive.
Number
We've
one.
got a juggernaut going on in the Blades of Glory. So yeah.
Okay. And which one of you guys, who do you think took the lead in making this plan?
We could say it was Sam's idea. I actually kind of like that, like, you know, his last hurrah.
Okay. Everybody okay with that? This basically means whose stat are we going to use for flipping the cards? Yeah, I think that makes sense. All right, so we are going to use, Sam, we're going to use your savagery to start with. And we're going to make some modifiers. We get a +1 if the plan is supported by plenty of resources and people. I think so. I think you've got some real good tools here. +1 if basing the plan on accurate current information. Yeah, I think so. You have a real good sense of what you're facing here. So you got 2 plus cards for that. You got a -1 if there's significant opposition. I will tell you that a lot of zombies have started to gather with all this excitement in the last few hours. And is there any dissent? I don't think there's any dissent. So overall, you're getting an extra card. So Sam, you're going to flip 3 cards for us from the Survivor deck. Let me make sure once again that I've recalled and shuffled. All right, we are good to go. Let's see 3 cards.
I got a triumph.
Wonderful. That means you arrive and we pick up in the middle of your plan in decent shape. Sam, you tell me how you go out in a blaze of glory. Make it as beautiful or ugly as you want.
Just throwing around lots of explosives until I just get swarmed by zombies.
Sure.
Don't forget the Deadman switch.
Yeah, that's a good touch, yeah.
Okay. Yep. And you let you. What's your? Do we any final words or a look on your face or anything that's conveyed on the screen before that big explosion?
No, probably just busy with the zombies.
Okay. So you come out, you're throwing grenades and whatnot all over. There's explosions, zombies come running at you, and it moves to you kind of in the background now as the trucks come zooming up, pretty much in the clear. You did extremely well in drawing the zombies to you, and the trucks come zooming up, and the SWAT van. It's got a big ram plate and bars on the front of it, so it slams into a few zombies and crunches them pretty nicely, and I think you get clean away, and there's just an explosion in the background as all the claymores and the grenades and everything that Sam has attached to himself explode, and zombie guts go flying everywhere. You guys in the night drive back to the hospital, and we're not going to draw any cards on this next part, but what I would like you guys to describe for me is how you go about using all of these weapons to clear out the zombies and at least get back to where you started with the ER and the administrative and the cafeteria back under your control. We're going to kind of, we'll go around the table. Unfortunately, we'll skip Sam, but we'll go around, from the other three of you guys and describe for me kind of like what we see your character doing as you clear out this hospital. Let's go down the left to right on the screen. So Dan, you're up first. What do we see Austin and Shun doing to clear this hospital out?
I think we see sort of a cut scene of Austin and Shun sneaking, past the dead that have infested our the places we once held, and setting up distracting sounds, setting up makeshift noisemakers, things like that, in order to give the rest of the team a chance to push the dead out and to reinforce any barricades that had been there. So yeah, that's what I got.
Okay. And Matt, what is Stanley doing? Stanley and I always lock up on, I want to say Sunny every single time. It's Sandy.
Yeah. Well, they are, this is probably after the initial wave of destruction. They are mostly working the perimeter, taking out stray zombies that have wandered in from the noise, which gives me the opportunity to play my past card.
All right.
And that is Trapper, which just means reveal it when take someone hunting with me. So I get an extra draw when hidden in a natural environment.
Okay. So you and Sandy are kind of like lurking in the bushes and picking off zombies as they come wandering into the parking lot or whatever.
Yep.
Okay. And Val, what do we see you and Domingo doing to help clear out this hospital?
Yeah, I think the cut scene you get of those two is Domingo in his full riot gear armament that he's accrued, probably with like the bash shield, and they're just very violently bashing zombies down, shooting them in the head from close range, and you can see like they're probably a little bit got a little bit of bloodlust going on.
Okay. All right, and you guys, like I said, you successfully clear out, the zombies. What do you do with all the bodies?
Burn them. That's my vote.
Create a big pile of bodies, light it on fire.
Yeah, probably out in the parking lot.
Okay. And we're going to, let's have a scene Actually, let's take a minute. Let's let Kyle make up a new character. And you guys think about, we're going to make up a new character for Kyle. We're going to have some time pass in, we're going to pick up with the Enclave after a few weeks, maybe something like that. We'll kind of establish that once we get there. But you guys think a little bit about what you would like to see for the Enclave in the next few weeks, maybe what your character would be involved with. One big question, maybe we'll have to resolve is, I'll tell you, Dr. Jones is going to recover. She is going to wake up. What are you going to do with her? What are you going to say to her? What's going to be your approach handling her and her whole thing? And to make it clear, you have your foods, you have your medicine. You actually, in mechanical terms, we're going to take those right off of your scarcity list. So you guys have medicine, you have weapons now, and you were going to have a scarcity of food, but you avoided that. So your Enclave is in really good shape. Security, though, is still a problem. It's a hospital. It's never really going to be able to really lock it down the way you really wish you could. But otherwise, you're in good shape. And there's I think we established there's about 8 or so survivors that you still have. There's the administrator, Hans Schumer, and there is this couple. Stanley never really shared this with anybody. Maybe this is something that maybe in the interim he'll kind of have to resolve. There were some strange moaning sounds from the ER clinical area, or from the I think it was from the imaging and lab area when you went back there and talked to the doctor. So that's another thing we might try to have to resolve, what happens with that. But anyways, Kyle, this should only take a few minutes. So Kyle, what we're going to do is we're going to make up your next character. First things first, I'm going to deal you the cards, your past, present, and trauma cards. Let me get those out. I'm going to steal, let's see, how should I do this? Yeah, I'm going to steal your trauma card from your hand, Kyle. Go ahead and let me have it. We'll get that out of the way. All right. And we're going to clear off your player card, your player mat. Let's see, where is it? Sam. Delete. Yeah, that'll work. Or maybe I'll take it. There we go. Kyle, if you could go ahead, I guess it's not, we can leave your stats how they are. Maybe they'll be similar. Okay, so what we're going to do first, I'm going to give you a past card, 2 present cards, and a trauma. Present. 2. Deal 2 to Kyle. Okay, so Kyle, you look at your cards. The only choice you have to make right now is decide which of the 2 present cards you want to keep. draw that up onto the table, put it on your player card, your player mat. Go ahead and read that for us.
I'm a guardian. When you protect someone else from a human threat, you clear 1 stress, and I take +1 steel.
Okay. And now we do your stats. So you disperse a 3, 2 2s, and a 1. And you get an extra steel, was it?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Then think for a few minutes about your character's name, their appearance, and their basic demeanor. And you don't need to spell that out quite yet, but I guess just kind of keep that in your mind. And I think what we're going to do, we're going to give you an ally. Kind of just scribble down your name if you come up with one, and just think about your appearance and your demeanor, but we're going to have that come out and play, I think. So let's see who your ally is. Your ally is Ryan Hyung. Ryan has the skills of intimidation, leadership, and violence. He's a cop. And he's got a badge, a gun, and handcuffs. All right. And actually, if you do have, I guess maybe the other characters won't know this from the start, but do you have ideas about who you are and what you look like in your character? Because that'll help me figure out the next part. Take your time, though. There's no big hurry.
Yeah, woman named Harley seems like the tougher type, I guess.
Okay. What's Harley look like?
I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. What's the first word that comes to mind? What's Harley look like? Tall?
Sure. Yeah.
Skinny? I don't want to like lay it out for you, but we'll come back to it. You know, you think about it. It's not that important. Let me ask you this though. Why is Ryan follow her?
I think they've like known each other for a while.
Okay. And what is it about her? As much, you know, I don't want you to give away any of your secrets, but what is it about her that leads him to trust her and see, you know, be her ally?
Probably she's just like stepped up since the zombie outbreak.
Okay. He has faith in her, trust in her.
Sure.
He's confident, or he feels safe with her, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's Ryan's main personality quality? What's his main personality trait, would you say? Again, whatever kind of comes to mind that fits your vision.
Decent, I guess. Another guardian type.
Okay. Got it. So, Kyle, go ahead and kind of finalize thinking about your character. I don't think there's really anything mechanically you really need to do, but just think more about Harley and what she's about, what she looks like, her character. Get a concept, and let's go back to the other characters now. Let's start that with, you guys have cleaned out the hospital. Things have gotten back to normal. And the three of you are there when, Val, you're probably the next up on being the medical, aid person in the hospital at this point. So the three of you are there when Dr. Jones wakes up. And she's lying on a bed in the ER clinical area. Maybe it's the next day. It's probably not too much longer after your cleanup. And she looks around real groggy and she says, "I'd say where am I, but I know where I am. I'm back at Sacred Heart, aren't I?"
Okay, like we planned. What do you mean back at Sacred Heart? You just had a crazy dream, and I was there, and he was there, and no. Okay.
I smack Austin on the back of the head. Say, cut it out.
Oh, Austin. So
what do you remember after leaving here?
I went to the police station. There's zombies everywhere, and I crashed. The truck. How did I end up back here?
We brought you back. We found you. We didn't abandon you.
Yeah, we rescued you, some might say.
Are we safe? Is this place safe?
It is now.
It has been all along.
Well,
Why'd you leave, Doc?
It wasn't safe when I left, I guess. I thought it was lost. Sorry. I really am. I guess I underestimated all of you.
I mean, a place does decline when someone steals your food from behind your back or lies to you about what they're working on.
Yeah, you're right. I did that.
Why should we even care about you anymore? Give me one reason not to throw you out the front door.
Whoa. I mean, this is one of the top brain surgeons in the field. This doctor knows. Dr. Jones.
She clearly doesn't care about us.
If there's any hope for ending this, it's Dr. Jones.
Yeah, I used to think that too. And then she left.
I think Val, we're going to have you get in someone's face.
Yeah, that feels right.
And Austin, if you want to, you can interfere, but you don't have to. So getting in someone's face is savagery. which is what, 4 for you, Val?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it recalled and shuffled and everything?
Let me double check, make sure. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Edge. Opportunity. Miss. And a miss. I will take the opportunity.
Okay,
Can I do that interference?
sure.
Oh, yeah.
How many cards do you have up, Val? 2?
I have 2, yeah.
Okay, so you're going to draw 2 cards.
Great. And I mark a stress for this. Is that right?
That's right. I always forget that part. You're absolutely right.
Make that mark right there. And 2 cards.
Yep.
Let's see. We've got a miss and a triumph. Let me see here. I guess I'm gonna replace that. Opportunity was the highest one.
Yeah.
I will replace that with a miss.
Well,
Okay.
I guess it's kind of your thought, right? Because like I would have to take stress to make the opportunity to try out. But
Actually, the way this is supposed to go, if I had done it right, is before Val decides which card to go with, you do the interference, and then you decide which card you want to take away from Val. So let's assume that that's true. So you haven't chosen the opportunity yet, Val.
right.
So do you want to take away Val's opportunity, or do you want to take away Val's edge?
I think the opportunity.
Okay, I think that's probably reasonable. So you're left, if you already marked a stress on the opportunity, take that away.
I hadn't yet. No.
Okay, so you end with an edge on getting in someone's face. So on an edge, on a hit, they have to choose mark stress and escalate or concede. And if you got the triumph, you would get a +4 against them if they try to escalate or hurt you. But she's browbeaten. Let's go back. What is it you asked her, or what is it you asked of her? Why should we trust you? Why shouldn't we just throw you out the door? Right? Is what you said.
Yeah.
Something like that. She says, look, I don't want to die. I want to tell you that I'll help you. I'll take care of you like I did before. But as soon as everything's calm here and everyone's healthy, I'm going to leave again. I've got to get to that CDC facility. It's the only chance we all have of figuring out what the hell's going on and getting our society back on its feet. You know, it's just a matter of time before the zombies get us all.
Have you actually confirmed that they're still there?
I try to reach them. I've been in contact with them. The first few weeks after the apocalypse, I could talk to Eberhard with the radio, but all I get now is that looping message. Have you heard it?
We haven't heard it yet. No.
Yeah. You go to channel XXYZZ and you'll hear it every 10 minutes. It runs that same message over and over. I can't reach him, but I know he's got to be there. That's the most secure place in hundreds of miles from here. I don't think the zombies could have taken that place.
I'm not willing to take that chance. We need you here.
Okay, I'll stay.
Or we need to go with her.
We have no idea what the state of anything beyond the town is. And even that was a shit show. We just got this place cleaned up. We've got a little bit of space, a little bit of security. It'd be suicide to leave here.
Well, I don't think we can keep her against her will either. Obviously, she took what wasn't hers to take, and that was wrong. But I don't think it's right to abduct her this way.
Doesn't sit wrong with me.
You guys hear something you haven't heard since Z-Day. You hear that unmistakable sound of a helicopter. You hear a helicopter flying your direction, and it sounds kind of ragged, though. I don't know if any of us have ever heard a ragged sounding helicopter, but this is it. And it's approaching. It seems to be flying really low. It's loud. Kyle, let me ask you something before we go further with this. How do you feel about being somehow involved in this whole CDC quarantine facility? If you don't want to go that way with your character, that's perfectly fine. We will go a totally different direction. But how do you feel about this being a helicopter from this CDC facility? I'm cool either way, though.
I'd rather not.
Okay, sounds good. Same thing, though. Back to where we left off. You hear this helicopter approaching.
Does this hospital have a pad?
No.
Okay.
We pick up, the camera moves inside the helicopter, and Kyle, you're flying in the passenger seat with Ryan, and Ryan was a police, he was a chopper pilot for the police, and you are coming in for a landing, and he's like, hold on tight. We're on our last drop of fuel. If I can land in that parking lot, I'll be lucky. I don't know why somebody lit a bonfire there, but following that smoke was our only chance, and here we are. And what we're going to have you do, we're going to have your ally, do something. So this is a draw. And this is NPC ally. When you direct your allies to take action, draw 2 cards from the survivor deck. If the action is in line with their skills, and I'm going to say it is, so you get an extra card. If they have the equipment or useful materials, no, they have a helicopter, but it's running out of fuel. So I'm not going to give you that one. So you're going to draw 3 cards from the survival deck. It's all shuffled.
Got a triumph.
Great. Let's see. On an edge that works, a triumph, everything goes fine. Okay, so you come in for a landing. We're going to pick up with the scene where, everybody comes running out to see what this, what the deal is with this helicopter. It comes in for a pretty smooth landing. It kind of, hovers and sets down very smoothly next to your bonfire, your pyre in the parking lot. The SWAT truck and the Ahmad's now beat up white truck and the Pulaski dry goods truck are all parked there in the parking lot. It's clear of zombies. And the 3 of you and the rest of the survivors come out, and Hans Schumer is like, are we saved? Who is this? What's going on? Kyle, what's the helicopter look like? What do you look like? Take it from there. Set the scene for us.
It's a police chopper, probably pretty dirty by this point. And we get out, I guess, and probably just rush for the hospital.
Okay. And tell us a little more, what's Harley like?
I can't visualize things very well, so whatever you'd
Describe
like.
your mom, your sister, anybody. Just
Uh,
give us just a base quality. Just give us a little bit of a picture of who we see.
tall, wears dark colors. Uh, uh,
Can always go good cop, bad cop.
okay.
Okay. Is Harley dressed as a police officer or in a uniform or just casual clothes, a business suit? What?
Just like regular practical clothes, I guess.
Okay. So the helicopter shuts down. You come out. Ryan's pushing buttons and flipping switches and whatnot. How does everybody react to each other?
Stanley is making sure that the noise hasn't attracted any more attention.
Okay. Looks clear.
I think Austin is excited for an opportunity to brandish the gun he carries. That's right. Austin carries a gun now, and he runs out and like makes a big show of keeping these people covered from foes that are not there. And he's like, "Get to the hospital, quick."
So Ryan is, I imagine he's probably a fit, guy in a police uniform. He comes out and he's got like sunglasses and he takes off and he goes, "Okay, son, no need for anything. We don't mean any harm. We were just looking for somewhere to land. We ran out of fuel. Is this place safe?
It's safe. Get inside.
Checking for bites.
We don't have any bites. Harley, you got any bites? Show the man."
Yeah,
He builds up his arms. He like pulls his sleeves up. He goes, "I got, we're fine. We're clean."
All the only good like cool lines I know for right now are like, "Get inside." I would say get to the chopper, but that is the actual opposite of what you should do.
Get out of the chopper.
yeah. I guess we rush inside.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think we need to draw any cards here. I think everybody rushes inside. And like the other survivors are like, so they come up to you, Harley, and they're like, "So are you here to save us? Are you coming from somewhere safe? Is there like is the government got like I don't know, like a fort or something somewhere nearby that we can get to?"
Now that I know of, I was just running from a place and I wound up here.
Oh man, shit. Another guy's like, "God damn it." All right. And, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm picturing like we're all like as a big group, kind of pressed around the two of them. They're getting questions lobbed at them, and then hearing that, Val just kind of verbally explodes. It's just like, "I told you all. I told you the world is dead. This is all that is left. There's no point in these daydreams about getting out of here and getting somewhere else. We either survive here or we will die."
Stanley goes and checks the radio station that was mentioned earlier.
Okay. And Kyle, let me ask you, what is and again, I don't want you to give away any of your secret cards necessarily, but you've been out and about for a couple months, and I don't know how you've moved around or who you've been with or where you've gone. We've got, hopefully we'll build that up as we play. But what do you know about? Let me put a little bit more pressure on you. Hillary has a flashback in her mind to something she knows about the world that these people don't know. something about the world that you all live in now. What might that be? What is this short little flashback she has in her mind as these people ask her if there's somewhere safe that she can go to, that they can go to, and what does she think about?
I guess she flew over a bunch of zombies to get here.
Okay. It's a horde. Is it moving this way?
Sure.
Of course it is. You tell them that, or you just kind of just keep it quiet?
Yeah, I'll tell them.
Okay. What do you say to these people? They're like, you know, you're not here to help us? God damn it. I was really hoping we could get out of this place.
Yeah, there's a horde of zombies that we think is heading this way.
And everybody goes silent. And Hans is like, well, we got a lot of guns now. We're going to be okay, right? Right, Val? Val, we're going to be okay. Stanley?
Yeah,
We can
Hans,
hope.
we're gonna be okay
Okay,
if
good.
we stick together.
Yeah, that's right. Good idea. And Stanley, you're going to go wander off to check this radio message?
Yeah.
Okay. So the screen, we flash to Stanley. Where do you have the radio set up?
Well, there's I'm not even sure he's had time to get it out of the truck, but there is also the radio that's still in the lab.
Right.
So I think he'll head to that one.
Okay. So you go to the lab. And I think we decided it was in the, if I correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was in the lab/imaging area is where her little cubicle was with the X-ray. Yeah, it was where the X-ray machine was. And she had set up sort of a little radio station.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you walk in there, and from one of these other dark cubicles to the side, you hear this moaning. And then you know where the radio, there's no noise though. I imagine it was turned off, but where the radio is, but it's still there. What do you do?
First of all, have we actually determined where this zombie is? If he's locked in a safe spot?
The moaning sound?
Yes.
Presumably a zombie. No, it sounds like it's just there's an open cubicle to the side, and from the darkness in there, you hear this moaning. It's wide open.
Turn on the light.
You'd have to go turn the generator on.
Well, I'll use a flashlight then.
Yeah, we can say you have a flashlight. And you shine the light in there, and you see that there are 2 medical beds that have that are in here, and there are 2 zombies, a man and a woman, that are in sort of like hospital gowns, and they are strapped to these beds. And you recognize they have like really they've got a couple really horrendous wounds. Let's say the man has a obviously fractured skull. One side of his skull is kind of like smashed in. And the woman, let's say that she has a huge cut on the side of her chest. I guess you wouldn't see it from where you're at though with the gown on, but regardless, you recognize that these are 2 of the trauma patients that were here in the hospital when you first came with Sandy in the tractor. And you know, when everything was crazy, you saw that these were 2 of the patients that Dr. Jones was taking care of. and presumably they were still in here and she was taking care of them, but they clearly are zombies now. And they're just laying there lolling, gnashing their teeth, looking at you, with a hungry look.
Mm-hmm. Well, 9mm, double tap to each of their heads.
Okay. Yep. No problem.
Use a pillow to prevent any backsplash.
Okay. Muffle the sound a little bit.
Yep.
Okay. Then what?
Then turn on the radio.
Okay. And there is you go to that channel. It's all static. There's nothing on, you twist the dial. There's no discernible, radio signal whatsoever, just static, static, static. You do get to the XXYYZZ channel that she talked about. And there is that's it's a very calm message, a man's voice. And it says, this is Dr. Carl Eberhardt at the CDC quarantine facility in Lombard, Illinois. We have a secure facility and can accommodate a limited number of survivors if they can arrive with a substantial supply of medicine and foodstuffs. It repeats the same message again, and then it stops.
Mm-hmm. All right. Flick it off and return to the group.
Okay. What's everybody doing at this point after a few minutes?
Val is distributing handguns to the survivors, and starting to discuss setting up a perimeter around the hospital, where I'm like telling Hans, like, we need to set a watch schedule. We need shifts of people. It's time for us to get organized and start taking care of our home.
Okay. So everybody's pretty much listening to Val. And Dr. Jones comes to you, Austin, and Stanley's gone. And I'm not sure. I mean, at this point, probably Ryan, the pilot, and Harley are kind of amongst themselves. Everyone's kind of in the new crisis is sort of drawing everyone away. So you guys are kind of off on the two of you, Ryan and Hillary, are on your own. And so Dr. Jones comes up to you, Austin and Sean, and she says, Austin, remember when I told you I would take you with me? That offer still stands. We can get out of here. I mean, I'm surprised, to be honest, that you guys found a way to save this place after what I left, but can you do it again? I mean, how many times can you fight off these things? This place isn't very safe, Austin.
I don't know, Dr. Jones. I do know that Val took the keys to all of the vehicles that we rode back here, and I don't know where those keys are. And it would be awesome if you know how to oh my God, Dr. Jones, do you know how to hotwire a truck? That would be so cool. Like, you're already cool, but if you could get into a truck and do the thing where they pull the thing down and they're like, I'm going to cut these two wires, and like, do you know how to do that?
No.
Okay.
But maybe we can get some helicopter fuel. There's room in there for probably 5 people. We talked to that new woman and that pilot. Maybe we can get to Lombard. It's not that far.
Boy, it sure sounds like there's nobody there. I know. I mean, from what you said, it sounds like it's it's just a repeated signal, and that's like not too difficult to set up. Like if you have a computer or a tape recorder or something like that, and that's like, and it's real easy for a group of people to get, it just takes one bite. Like somebody doesn't say, "Oh, I got bit," and then they go about their business and they hide their bite, and then some time passes, and then they're a zombie that's inside a secure place, and then somebody else gets bit, and then they're a zombie that's inside a secure place, and it's
Yeah. Okay, Austin. I understand. I know how it works. Okay.
okay.
But look, maybe you're right. Maybe something went wrong there. We go there and we go there and we clear it out. Worst case scenario, something's gone bad and we clear it out. That place is secure. The walls are 3 feet thick. There's barbed wire. There's weapons. There's enough food and supplies to last for years. It's secluded. That place is perfect. There's medical equipment. There's scientific equipment. Look, I want to fix this thing. We're just treading water here. Maybe we can convince the others to go there, get somewhere that we actually can survive. Like I said, you might be right. Maybe we got to clear it out. Or we can just keep rolling the dice here.
Okay. Well, okay, Doc. Here's a compromise. Okay, we see if we can weather this storm. I don't think the roads are going to be clear. It sounds like there's a whole bunch of dead people on their way here right now. So we weather this storm, and then maybe we figure out a way to get a scouting mission off to Lombard. If we can figure out how to get this helicopter flying, great. Then we figure out what's going on there. I think that, but I think right now we all need to be here because it's a dangerous situation, and some of the people who are here need everyone who's capable to help them.
Okay. I think this conversation, we're going to kind of see what effect it has on Dr. Jones by doing a draw. Okay. So I think we're going to do, I think it's enough there sharing to call it opening up to someone. How's that sound? So that's going to be a draw with soul. What's your soul, Austin?
Ooh, I think it's 1 or 2. I have it on my.
Oh, let me get you back to that sheet. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. I have it on the on my little.
Your card or your handout.
Yeah. So it's 2.
Okay. Let me make sure I got everything recalled and shuffled. Okay, go ahead and draw 2 cards for me.
Okay. We've got miss. And opportunity.
Okay.
Oh, let's see. Oh boy.
Now, what happens when you open up to someone? Let me tell you this might help you. When you open up to someone, when you get a hit, you both lose a point of stress. So if you take a point of stress here, you're going to take it right off because will get a hit. You follow?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Then let's do that. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Let's.
Yeah. So it's going to be a triumph. You don't need to mark anything then. So on a hit, you both clear a stress and you choose one. So your choices are: look at one of their face down identity cards, ask them any question they must answer honestly. And if it's an NPC, you can raise their disposition or calm them down. So in mechanical terms, right now, she's kind of antagonistic to the group. She's not really like going to kill anybody probably, but she's lost faith, or she's not on board. So if you take that last option, you can bring her up to neutral, which at least will make it less likely that she's going to, like she admitted, try to abandon you as soon as possible. Or you can ask her a question and she'll have to answer honestly.
I think raising the disposition seems like
Okay.
most likely thing.
So she smiles. She says, Austin, I've said it before. I'll say it again. You're a good kid. I really hope you survive this. I hope we all do. And she walks off. We've got just a few more minutes. Does anybody have a quick scene they want to have? If not, we will cap it off today with a quieter ending to this episode, leading into our final episode. Anybody have a quick thing they want to see on the screen? Anything they want to do or ask before we call it a day? Okay, so I think the last shot of this episode will be, sort of, a helicopter shot, kind of going back the way that Harley's helicopter took to get here, and flying over the trees of Glendale, and past the town hall, and to the fields, the corn and soybean fields of this Midwest community in the mid to late fall. I think maybe there's starting to be a little bit of frost in the nighttime. And we see, a wide shot, and field after field is full of zombies, thousands of zombies meandering this way. Okay. I think that's it. Is everyone comfortable putting this on YouTube? If not, that is fine. Everyone's a go? Great. All right. Thanks, guys. I'm going to end the broadcast. If you have any question or anything, feel free to ask.